Hey, Young, what's up? You listening to Sporting Convos with Eddie and Mike. It's me, Mike from Southwest. I'm here with my guy.
Eddie P, at your service.
And we got a fast-paced, fast-action show for y'all this weekend, man. Well, not this weekend, but this week. 4th of July coming up.
Oh, yeah.
It's cooled down a little bit, but I feel like by the time 4th of July rolls back around, it's going to heat up a little bit more. But hope everybody's enjoying their summer. Graduations are over, prom season over, all that. So we chilling. Heard people going to the beach. I might pull up. You never know. So yeah, let's cook, bro. How's you doing? How's summer break for you so far?
It's going good. Actually, just came back from the beach. Everything was good, except when we tried to go into the actual water at the beach. The reason that we went to the beach for vacation was, anyway, the water was like, it was 60 degrees the first day and then 58 the next day. I want you guys to understand that is very, very cold. That is very, very cold.
Typically, when you go to the beach, the water is usually above 70. On a 90-degree day, so to speak, but 50 is crazy, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's crazier is the second day when it was 58, it was the nicer day. Like the sun was out, there were no clouds. It was windy, and that definitely didn't help. But overall, the vacation was great. We always go out to Chincoteague Island. Most people are going to know that as the island with the wild horses. For some reason, people are so fascinated by that. It's like they're horses. Like they're not doing anything. They're just being horses. They're just laying about, standing, eating. That's it. Nothing exciting. Yet people pull over, slow down to take pictures and look at all this.
Hey, I
So
ain't messing with them horses, bro. Them
no,
wild
not
horses.
even. They're not close enough, and you wouldn't be able to like get up to one. Like you'd have to go through like a marsh kind of area to get to where they are.
So
Yeah.
you basically gotta ask for the trouble.
Oh yeah,
Or
yeah.
go looking for the
Nobody's going
trouble.
out there, Mike. They're standing and like from afar.
Okay.
So I get
Just
check it out for
saying.
a second, but you can just drive by and do this. Anywho, vacation was great. Um, A
Same
lot of
my little
soccer
pony.
going on. I know that's not high on your list or a lot of the typical sports fans list, but the Euro Cup and the Copa America tournament are both going on. I believe Euro Cup is in the knockout stage now. You lose and you go home. Copa, I think there are 2 games on today that wrap up the group stage where everybody plays. We're going to talk about that later on, especially as it pertains to Team America, not the World Police, but yeah, just Team America, the soccer team.
I ain't heard that term in a long time, but let's continue to move on. We're gonna start talking some sports, man. The
Yes.
Washington Wizards, man. It felt good to say that on the show, especially as the first segment. The Washington Wizards, man. Shout out to Will Dawkins, Michael Winger, and the rest of the organization, except for Ted Leon suspension.
Yeah.
They had the second overall pick in the 2024 draft, and they went with Alexander Sarr. He's from France. He played overseas for the last 2 out of the last 3 seasons. Last year, he was with Overtime Elite, did well there. So I felt like this was going to be the pick for a while. When we dropped the second, I kind of was a bit concerned because he was projected to go first. But the Hawks, they kind of have a lot of size already. They don't really necessarily need someone. And their pick, I can't remember his name, who's
Rashard.
also from France. First time ever to top 2 picks outside of America. I'm sorry. So I was concerned a bit, but apparently Sarr only wanted to play for the Wizards. He only granted Washington the draft workout, the post draft workout. And it seemed like the Wizards wanted him too, because they like I said, it just felt like they've been like the tea leaves has been saying this would be the pick for a long time. I like it. I like him. What's your thoughts, bro?
Well, we definitely could use some size. The whole him being young and hopefully
7'1".
yeah, the size and the youth combo, you know, if everything goes according to plan, then maybe he's with us like, a good 10, maybe 12 years max. Um, and that's what you can hope for is that this pans out. I'm going to be honest, I really don't know a lot about him. I noticed, and I get it that sometimes in Europe and other countries, overseas, etc., that you can turn pro at a much younger age, and that might be just slightly a little bit more common than over here. But man, his numbers didn't really wow me. It was like eight rebounds he averaged, or 6 rebounds, or something like that.
I think it was 4 points and 5 or 6 rebounds, but no, it wasn't 4 points. It was 5 or 7 points or something like that. But sometimes you gotta go deeper than the numbers, bro. He
Gotcha.
averaged those numbers at 18 minutes a game.
Okay.
So
Fair
if you
enough.
kind of double that or prorate that
Fair
into
enough.
a full game, the numbers look much better. I know a little bit about him. He's not a banker. Like he's not only because of the size, but just his style of play. He is 7'1", but he's not a banker. Um, I'm not. Listen, I know he's French, and I know he's tall, and I'm only saying this name so y'all can think of the actual play style and not talking about the skills. So do not. I warned y'all. Do not come with me with no nonsense when I say this. His style of play is similar to Wemby's,
Okay.
but he
Kind
is
of thought
not
that's where you're going.
Wemby.
Yeah.
He is not Wemby. He's not Sham God. He's not Sham God and three low post 360 moves. Duncan. No, he's not that. So please don't come to me with that stuff. I'm just saying he's not a banger. He's not going to back you down under the post. He's not going to outmuscle you like that. But he has some flair. His jump shot is nice. He runs the floor well. And honestly, I just like his attitude for a second round pick. I mean, second overall pick. I'm sorry. I like the Bama's attitude. Like I really like what I see from him. The next pick, bro.
Dylan Jones.
No, that wasn't. We didn't pick him. We traded him to the Knicks. Because of this pick, we traded up. No, I'm sorry. This pick came from the. Well, actually, pause all draft talk for a second. I didn't mention this at the. We traded Afdia to the
Yeah.
Blazers
Yep.
and picked up the 14th pick in this draft, and a 2029 first round pick. I know people like, hey, 5 years, whatever. Who cares? It's the first.
Hey,
Like,
exactly.
I don't care if it was a 2050. Give me the first. But nevertheless, so yeah, they traded him and picked up the 14th overall pick, where they drafted from Baltimore, Carlton Bub Carrington, tall guard from Pittsburgh, really, really tall guard for his size, and he actually grew into that size. He was 5'8" and throughout high school until his senior season, I believe, where he shot up to like 6'3", and now he's 6'5". Like it's a good pick, bro. Like he looks like he has some dog in him too, man. Especially coming out of Baltimore, where they ball. Like I'm telling you, they ball in Baltimore. You think the DMV balls? I work with a lot of people from Baltimore, and almost every person in there is a baller. Even the football players, he's a baller. Kind of got jacked up playing basketball recently, but he's a baller nonetheless. So yeah, but yeah, I like that pick. what do you know about Sir Carrington?
Not a damn thing. I know what you just said. I'm keeping it honest. You know, I am a federal government employee as far as my paychecks are concerned, and I am on a schedule of no work during the school year. So come summertime, I kind of check out. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm keeping up with the sports and stuff, but I'm gonna be honest. I saw who the Wizards picked with their second pick, and then I kind of once I saw that we got that guy, I kind of checked out. I'm gonna be real honest.
No,
Um,
understandable.
I was, and you'll think this is crazy. I was kind of checking to see where my Jayhawks went, and I'm pretty sure Furphy went late first. I believe he might have got on with the Timberwolves or the Warriors for some reason. That's why I'm thinking those. But nonetheless, that's not necessarily pertaining to what we're talking about because we're talking about the Wizards. So yeah, hey, look, if we're bringing in guys that are going to compete and are going to contribute, and we're going to eventually get this thing turned around the same way we're trying to turn the Commanders around, sign me up. I don't care what the Bub, Fudge, whatever. I don't care what their names are. It bring them, bring them. Can they
Yeah,
play? Can
I
they put the
like.
ball in the hoop? Can they stop others from putting the ball in the hoop? Can they do something within the game that is key and they do that very well? Bring them. Bring all of those people. Bring them.
So the Wizards, they had the 26th pick, and that's where they drafted Dylan Jones. However, before those picks were made, or before that pick was made, it was announced that the Wizards traded that 26th pick and their 51st pick to the Knicks to move up 2 spots, where they drafted from the University of Miami for Kaishan George. And just like you, I kind of checked out after this draft pick. I don't know much about Kaishan George. I know he's a brother that can shoot. Like he can really shoot that thing. But that's all I know, and I think that's a specialty. Not really a great defender, can't create his own shot, but very great shooter. And with a team in the 2020s, you need some shooting. So, would you have happened to acquire some knowledge about Sir Kaishan?
Yeah, I'm checking it out right now. So, your boy is 21 years old from Switzerland, is what it says.
Yeah,
I think he was
yeah.
a one and doneer at college as well.
Well, I'm
Six
not sure
seven,
about that.
6'7", 209. Well, it says freshman is what the status says.
Oh,
I don't know
cool.
if that means if that's like a rookie thing, but just says freshman. And says he played a lot, but he only got a couple of dunks, and that he certainly needs to work on and add finishing to like his bag. All these loser kids are saying the bag. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I can't stand certain types of slang. I don't know why. It's just
If you got a bag, you got a bag. Like what? Why
he's
you
in his
hate?
bag. I think some of that stuff sounds so stupid. Anywho, I'm gonna stop being a curmudgeon. Um, your man's got some size, and if he can shoot, I don't want to jump the gun here, but I would just imagine that there's some ability to play on the perimeter overall. I understand like being able to shoot is part of playing on the perimeter, but what I mean is like I don't think he's just standing still and chucking them up. Granted, he probably can shoot over a good handful of people, um, but I'm just guessing there's maybe like some tweener style play, like with his size, you put him at the power forward, but he's maybe a stretch
Yeah,
forward, you know, and that's kind of interesting because then you think, if we still got Kuzma, Koulibaly, this guy, and Sar. I mean, I was getting ready to say Sar. That's a lot of size and length. You know what I mean? So That could be interesting for defense, especially. But no, I don't know much about him. Says he needs to work on ball handling, next level
Yeah.
pressure. He's only 20. He hasn't turned 21 yet. Excuse me. So
Okay. No, I thought you said 20 though. But
his birthday is 12/12/2003. So
oh yeah,
I think he's 21. But
20.
I
Yeah.
math is mathing.
So I like those 3 picks. But as far as this season go, bro, now is not the time to shock the world. Give them what they want. Be the worst team in the league. Because, bro, I'm telling you, bro, are you listening to me, bro?
Yeah.
Sorry, man, let me stop. But no, seriously. Cooper Flag. I need that. I need that here. I need it here. I need Cooper Flag in DC. I need this takeover to start. And he's the one that's going to lead us there. I need that Bama from Maine here. I'm not going to say his current school or his school next year. Screw them. But I need Cooper Flag and DC. I kind of wish he went to Kansas. Why didn't he go to Kansas? But nevertheless,
Duke,
bro,
can't
like I'm telling you, I need Cooper Flag and DC. Like I'm not even going to talk about him no more on this show until after the season.
Did you see the thing about Filipowski or Flippa?
Oh yeah, that's awful. We can't talk about that right now. We cannot talk.
Well, it's a Duke player, and then did you see where he ended up? He ended up going to Utah.
And the Utah is crazy.
Of all places.
We can't go down that rabbit hole. Not this episode, bro. But yes, we will. Hopefully, it's more updates. But next episode, remind me that we got to get that in.
Gotcha. Sounds good.
But like I made it clear what I want us to do. I hope we go 0-82. Like I want as many lottery balls in that.
Yeah, I mean I guess the chances, but overall,
sucks,
no.
Like that's what sucks. That they, bro, like all 4 of the worst 4 records have like an equal shot at getting the first pick. That's like insane to me, man. And it would be this year or the following year where Washington ends up with the 5th pick, where they have the worst record in the league. Because even if they don't get flagged, there's another player, Ace. I forgot his last name, but they're mentioning him with flag. So that alone is like, whoa, like you as good as Cooper Flag? Oh, okay. I haven't seen any tape or highlights of him, but I can't wait to sink my teeth into it. But what are your expectations or predictions or whatever for the Wizards 24-25 season? That's crazy.
I want to see competitiveness. I want to see growth. Yeah, and it'll be anxious. I mean, like not anxious. It'll be interesting to see. You got like a little bit the French connection with Koulibaly and Sarr. And hopefully that might even help too, having somebody over here that kind of might. I'm not saying everybody in France knows each other, but at the same time, being from the same country, going through some of the same things. He might be able to help the transition. So there's that. But projections, I don't. Who knows because of injuries and with guys moving around and everything. But I'm hoping we at least like are competitive within our division. Maybe like flirting with play in. Maybe.
Oh, absolutely not.
But that would be
absolutely not.
I think that would be like our ceiling at the moment.
Bro, the basement is the ceiling. Like,
Wow.
forget this.
Goodness.
Like, no. Don't playing.
Look, you say that, but all it takes is like a couple of little moves here or there not to work out, injuries, etc.
No,
You know,
no, no, bro.
listen,
You
bro.
sound like the people in Wizards Nation right now. You're blowing me, bro. Like,
Oh,
why are
pause,
we?
pause, Mo, pause,
I
Mo.
knew he was gonna say something. Uh, I knew he was gonna say something, but no, real talk.
Well,
Um,
right.
hey, you looking at it the wrong way, bro. You're looking at it the wrong way. They need to lose. They need to not win. They got to get one of these generational type talents. And with Cooper Flag coming out next season, because he's not going to go back to Duke unless he on some Bama stuff like, oh, I want to play. I'm making money at Duke, so I'm gonna stay at Duke another year because they're my heart. But
How do you know?
I
He
hope
looks at his options and is like, you know what? Duke's pretty ridiculous. I'm pretty loved around here, and with this NIL, I'm making money. So,
right. No, I hope the NBA cooks up something for us. We're a big city, um, a big fan base that's just waiting for something to latch on to. I give us extra lottery chances or something, and y'all owe us from Wemby. Like, let's keep it a buck. Like, we were really one lottery ball away from Wemby and didn't get them. So
yeah, that would
yeah,
have been insane.
let's go ahead and get flagged to DC. Now I'm not sure how much you want to talk about the next topic, but there was a certain son drafted in the second round of the NBA draft that caused a wave of reactions. And I didn't say one thing publicly about it. Not one thing did I say publicly about the Los Angeles Lakers taking Bronny James with the 55th overall pick, I believe.
Yeah,
Or was it 53? Oh, 55? All right,
probably,
cool.
like at least in my lifetime, probably the biggest second round draft pick ever. Like I can't name any other second round draft
So
pick.
go ahead, bro. What you got on it?
Uh, well, so at first it was kind of just one more knock on people who hate on LeBron, and I tend to come across as hating on him, but it's more from that, like we talked about with Cowboys fans, it's the LeBron fans that want to try to kind of like put in these slights at Jordan, but like sort of like real smooth and like kind of, like, oh yeah, and by the way, like, better than Jordan. Jordan played in a weak era, like, oh, like stuff like that. So I don't hate on LeBron. And I'll be honest, the more I think about it, good for them. I think the key here is that people and I don't think he sucks, but there's a good chance that he only I mean it's like 100% that he only got drafted because of his dad. Now, he's still talented, did some good stuff at the combine and all that. But yeah, he probably would have had to really work his butt off to get on a team. But then like let's look at it like this, right? Um you look at what Dion's doing as well, and then I know people have done the little share the pictures and everything with Dion and his kids, and then LeVar Ball and his kids. So sorry, there's a moth in the house. You need to relax. It's a moth. Pause. We gotta hold on.
Hell week. But I just don't care enough to have a strong opinion one way or another. A lot of
Well,
people, like everything else in the world, everybody got to make stuff about race and the nepotism word has been thrown out so much in the last week of like, yes, it's nepotism, but the Lakers made the pick. Like they could have told LeBron to go F himself and like none of this would be happening. But they
Yeah,
made the pick. They're the ones in charge. Of course, LeBron is like a shadow GM or whatever, but he's not the GM. He's not the owner of the team.
yeah. So, apologies. A moth got in the house, and my daughter was unable to function, and I was trying to kill it. And so, we're gonna chop all this up. So I don't know how much of Mike will leave this in or not. My only
I
thing
don't
to
think
bring
I
up
am.
the Bronny James thing, obviously, somewhat of a lightning rod topic. You mentioned the race thing. I think again, it's the people that like, yeah, he's not that good, and that's kind of what they're mad about because there's plenty of other uh, children of said athlete in said sport that go on to play as well. And yeah, a lot of pressure and expectations come with that because of the name you have. And it's no different here. But I think the difference is like he's not anywhere close to what his dad is. And I think, well, yeah, because his dad is like what you talked about with, your boy Cooper Flag and whoever else that, these are once in a lifetime guys. So I think that comes into play. But then let's look at it like this. Dang it, what is that guy's name? I always forget this. What's the owner of the Indianapolis Colts? What's
Hersey.
Yeah. How did he get the team? From his daddy. From his daddy. If you look at the like, I think there's like four of them at least. Jerry Jones got his kids all working for him. The Steinbrenners, their dad left them the team, and I think one of them might have already died. That's how long this has already gone on. Um, this one's a little different because I believe Peyton and Eli for sure they both could play, but look at what Archie Manning did. Eli won't play there. Look at that kind of stuff. People didn't really say as much. So, and you mentioned the Lakers. Listen, I don't think there's anything wrong with how she's run the team or anything else, but how'd Jeannie Buss get the team? Her dad, right? So nepotism is okay sometimes, right? And I'll be honest, at first I kind of was like, man, the Lakers are they're gonna try to grant LeBron this wish, and it's just not gonna work out. Now, hey, there's the outside chance that a Tom Brady kind of like thing happens here. Remember what I said? If Tom Brady was drafted where he thought he should have been drafted, I don't think he'd be Tom Brady that everybody thinks now. I think what happened is he got a reality check to a degree. Okay. Obviously, he proved everybody wrong, but that was what he needed to become who he was now. I mean, he's still Tom Brady, but I mean, he's retired. So maybe all this talk, Bronny James just keeps his head down because we haven't really heard much out of him. I've seen some interviews of him like just being a kid and stuff like that, talking about sneakers and like other stuff. But uh yeah, maybe this is like something where all of a sudden he's like, a gym rat and like putting up a ton of shots, working on the three, working on the mid range. And then next thing you know, he all of a sudden he's a big deal. Probably not gonna happen, but I'll leave it out there so that I can say, hey, I was like I was in that universe before most of y'all.
He's going to be a good deaf player, man. Like he's not a superstar, but he's his father's son. He's going to have
Well, I
high basketball IQ compared to most of the players in the league.
and he looks like he's in great shape, and he puts
Yeah,
up high. He's looked I mean, I'm sure from where he comes from, he's probably eating well and got a nutritionist and all that kind of stuff. And now that he's a pro, he'll have even more access to all that kind of stuff.
here's the last thing say about it, even you said earlier that he might not have been drafted if it wasn't for LeBron being his father or whatever. I'm not 100% sure about that because multiple people ranked them in the top 60 of their draft board. This man is a American All-American high school player, like
Yeah.
McDonald's All-American. I'm sorry,
Oh, hey.
like they don't hand those out. Even if you are LeBron's son, he's earned this right, regardless of how we feel about how he got there. He himself earned it with his accolades, with his production at the combine, not necessarily in college. Like, what if Kyrie never played in the tournament the year he got injured at Duke, and he was drafted off of his first game at Duke, or first 6 games at Duke, where he was only averaging like 11 points and 3 assists or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
And like, cause somebody compared him to the North Carolina State center and how his stats were much better than Bronny's, and he didn't get drafted at all. And I'm like,
Because there
what's
were
his
other people in
measurables,
this
bro?
position that were better. That's the
Right,
reality.
like what are his measurables? He's not as tall as a lot of his people in the size, in this
Isn't
position.
that guy like, don't
Um,
get me wrong, but isn't that guy like sort of new to basketball? Wasn't he a football player?
I can't even tell you all that. Like, I
He
honestly
was a
can't.
football player. And I'm not throwing shade or saying like he sucks. I'm just saying maybe that factored in as well.
Right, but like, no, like, no. Um, but that's all I got on LeBron James Jr.
Yeah, same.
Um,
No shade and good on them. I think a lot of it too is people who feel like, oh well, I was good, like I'm sorry your dad couldn't get you into the NBA. Like, you know what I mean? Because I do get it. I think regardless of race or anything, you see something like that. It reminds you of the movies where like, yeah, so and so's on the team, but they're only on the team because of their dad. You know, I think
right.
there's some of that, but on the real,
Um,
people need, but
James Hurley.
people on the real, people need to have your attitude towards it. Because the only reason I'm talking about it is it's a sports topic. LeBron James, one of the biggest sports figures right now, and pretty much of our lifetime. Um, I said one of, just to be fair. So that's all. I actually kind of the more I think about it, like regardless, good on them, because all those other owners and people that I named. I mean, shoot, you can even go to like other businesses and stuff, like these
Mm-hmm.
CEOs and whatever, and they hand it down to their kids, and sometimes their kids are shit kids. They're terrible human beings. I mean, don't be wrong. I'm not saying
Allegedly.
Bronny James is a saint, but hey, from everything I see, he seemed to be a good kid. So why not? Good for him. He didn't get to pick his parents.
What is your favorite free agency signing or NBA trade that has been made so far?
I don't know that I have a favorite. I think this one's a little bit interesting just in terms of it's almost like they're loading up on sizable gentlemen in the NBA, but the Pacers signed James Wiseman. So now you get James Wiseman, you get Siakam and Miles Turner. That's three pretty good sized brothers to play down there in the forward slash center position. And then you add in Tyrese Halliburton, and he's actually got some size as well, but he's a perimeter player. So now you've got some decent length on defense and a number of guys to throw the ball into the post on offense. Not to mention, I know Turner and Siakam can shoot the three. I don't know much about Wiseman's game, but I think that was like a sneaky addition. Uh, I'm interested to see how the Paul George to Philadelphia thing works out. I'm interested in that one. And then who the Knicks get to complete the Villanova Mikal Bridges? Did he? He
I think
signed.
that's been the most talked about move. So when they traded him, they gave up 4 firsts for him. And I was like, man, that's a lot for Mikal Bridges, ain't it? 4 firsts. Then like 3 days later, Abdia gets traded for 2 firsts. I'm like, oh, so I guess
First
that's
round
the
picks
way the
ain't what
league
they used
is
to be,
now,
huh?
huh?
I said first round picks ain't what they used to be, huh?
Yeah, like
Slanging
I
them things
guess
around.
so.
Pause.
So, but yeah, like I'm feeling that move, but the Sixers, they're kind of like loading up again right now because not only did they sign Paul George, they brought in Eric Gordon and Andre Drummond. They retooled, bro. Re-signed Oubre, re-signed Maxi for $205 million. They
Rock Chalk,
are,
Kelly Oubre.
yeah, they are a healthy Embiid away from finally winning this. That
Reason.
because the Celtics, they're good. I'm not hating on them,
Just
but
resign the
they
deal.
didn't really get tested this season. Their path to the championship was kind of easy, all things considered. I mean, sure, we hope the Mavericks would give us a better series than they gave us in the finals, but with a banged up Luca, Kyrie being up there in age, and the firepower that Boston had, my goodness. I really think that the only team in the West that could have gave them some go are the Denver Nuggets, and they just they couldn't even get past the Timberwolves, and maybe the Timberwolves, but I really feel like Edwards just ran out of steam towards the end, and they need some more pieces too. Like that's a team that probably could have used Klay Thompson to keep it a buck with you, but instead he goes to the Mavericks. James Wiseman signed with the. Oh, you already mentioned that.
Pacers.
Yeah. Um, who am I thinking about? Oh, the Wizards. Valanciunas. We forgot to mention that they signed Valanciunas. The probably start at center, and maybe
Yeah.
Sar would be 4 with Kuzma and Koulibaly. I'm sorry, um, playing swapping between the 4 and the 2. I mean the 3 and the 2. I'm sorry. And who knows who the point guard will be? Will it be Poole? Will it be Carrington? Will Tyrus Jones come back? We traded. Oh, I'm sorry. We picked up Malcolm Brogdon too. The only reason I'm kind of iffy on that is because I feel like they're going to buy him out that contract, bro.
Yeah. I just
So
saw Kyle Anderson's going to join the team as well.
who?
If I'm not mistaken, I think he played with the Timberwolves.
Oh, I think I know who you're
They
talking
call him
about.
slow mo because he doesn't really move fast.
Yeah, this is exactly who I thought you were talking about.
Yeah.
Man got a blow pop head, look like a baby, like
If
for
that's what
real.
I'm thinking of, and I only know this because I'm watching TV. It just came across the bottom screen there. I'm almost positive that's who it is, but I'll
Uh,
look it up.
and when you say they, you're talking about the Warriors, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, 3 years, 27 million. ESPN announced it 3 hours ago. So yeah, it's cool. But yeah, the Warriors, man, they lost Clay. Um, Replacing him with Kyle Anderson isn't going to do it. Need more than that, bro. But yeah, that's kind of all I got for the NBA because I just want the Wizards to lose. I don't care who beats them. Like, just hand us our ills this season. But I do plan on watching more though of the 24 to 25 season. I do plan on watching more. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Um, You asked, should we pursue? When I say we, we're moving to football now.
We are in the take command. part of.
Oh no. Nope. Nope. Don't do my guys like that. This ain't no take command, nothing. Shout out to Craig Hoffman. That's my guy. Like, that is my man. Like, Craig Hoffman is my guy for real. And Logan Paulson. Like, if we ever get a chance to get them on this show, you better believe we haven't. That's the only way Take Command to be on this joint is if they actually join the show. But Brandon Ayuk, should we trade for him? No. I feel like at this point, if he hits free agency, we'd be the leading contender to sign him, unless San Fran throws a franchise tag on him. I feel like he will be in Washington next season without giving up draft picks or players.
Yeah,
and if I was San Fran, I wouldn't trade him. Like, we are close to a Super Bowl, and we need all the elite players we can get. Now, what happens in 25, I don't know, but I can't worry about 2025 when I'm so focused on 24. And I need Ayuk to focus with me and stop going on shows and TikToks like trashing us, man. Like, come on.
Wait,
but nah, I wouldn't
us are
pursue
we
him.
talking about here? Because you were saying we and us in reference to the Niners. So
Nah, come on, bro. You already know what time it is.
yeah, no. I hear you, but what I mean is, so just now when you said quit trashing us, you're saying the 49ers are
yeah, because I was talking from their perspective.
I got you.
Not Washington's. Like, I just think, like, and apparently they talked already. And if Peters talked to San Fran already and the deal hasn't got done, that just means like it's not happening. Like, it's just not going to happen.
It's kind of where I'm at. I don't. It's not a disrespect to Brandon Ayuk or to say, hey, these guys we got. I mean, yeah, Terry's great. I think Dodson's going to be nice. De'Ami Brown, who hopefully maybe a breakout year of sorts or something closer to a breakout year. But I don't know that we need to do this, because doing that means we're probably giving up something that we shouldn't. We're going back to the old regime where we're same as the NBA, I guess, right? Like, where we're just throwing first round and second round picks out like hotcakes, like what we used to do. Like, oh yeah, bring that guy in, that'll work. And I get the connection to Jaden Daniels. I get all of that. And Ayuk is definitely, especially after last season, has really transformed himself into elite, I'd say at least top 15, maybe flirting top 10 receiver, from this past year. But it's a no for me, dog. Leave you with
I feel, I'm with you, as we already discussed. And that's it for the Commanders this week.
There's not much.
If you want to hear more Commanders talk, I literally just finished Commanders Declassified before I started Eddie and Mike. So feel free to go on that episode.
Excuse me, sir. This is Sporting Convos with Eddie and Mike.
I mean, yeah, that's the official name, but it's still Eddie and Mike. Like,
okay.
But nevertheless, like I said, yeah, Commanders Declassified. Shout them out on Twitter.
Got a number of those guys out in Oregon working out right now. You got to love it.
Oh, for real? I didn't know that. I haven't been on social media.
Rob, like Eckler, there's a handful of other guys too.
Oh yeah, that's what's up.
Getting in some reps, some exercise. Wasn't specific as to what they were doing, because not everybody out there plays the same position.
Right.
So, but
that's what's up, though.
I think Mariota was definitely out there, since he went to school.
Of course.
So
he probably organized the structure with him being the best quarterback. I wouldn't be surprised. Moving on to baseball. I have to continue to express my gratitude for my natitude that has returned. screw Masson, first of all. Like,
Yep.
why don't y'all have a contract with YouTube TV? This is ridiculous. I cannot wait for another company, hopefully Monumental Sports, to be honest with you, to take over the TV rights for the Nationals, because Masson has been cheeks for almost 20 years now. That channel just, it sucks.
Yeah,
And
absolutely,
the Orioles
totally.
of Washington, yeah, the Orioles, they have Washington by the nuts when it comes to TV rights, and it really sucks because Baltimore and Washington are not the same cities.
Nope.
A bunch of Washington fans, Virginia fans, quickly migrated to the Nationals when they first arrived to DC back in the offseason of '05. And yeah, like for them, for Major League Baseball to do that, like it truly, truly was ridiculous. Now that I got that off my chest, like I said, I'm happy. Like we had a debut yesterday, Sir James Woods. Um, we took the L. It's cool though. It's cool.
Hell today too.
Oh dang, thanks a lot. But
I was telling you.
I I just I just, like I said, they're playing well. They're losing a lot right now. I think they may have lost like 7 of the last 9 or something crazy like that. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking. But nevertheless, they're a young team, but they're playing well. They're playing hard, and this is what you want to see from a rebuild. They're 4 years removed from the World Series trophy, and looks like in a couple of years they may be competing for another one if they can continue this trajectory. Don't you think?
There's certainly a lot of promise. I do feel stupid because I think we talked about this in other episodes where I've mentioned James Wood. I was under the impression he was a pitcher. Uh, I was very surprised yesterday when he was out in the field, and I was like, "Wait, is this like a Shohei Otani thing? Like this guy play everywhere?" No, I'm just a moron. So now that that's out of the way, uh, yeah, my man got his first hit. Uh, Pretty awesome. Went 0-3 today, had a walk, I believe in the bottom of the ninth, and was caught stealing second. So that wasn't good. But I think overall, when you look at our pitching staff, my man Hers, 10 strikeouts again today, Mike. He's only had like 6 total major league starts. 2 of those starts, he's thrown 10 strikeouts. That's insane. 10 plus.
Man, it's a
The other one,
beast.
the other one, I think he was at like 14 or something crazy. Um, but when you look at guys like him, you look at, a Mackenzie Gore, who's a little bit mercurial, a little bit kind of, night and day sometimes. Like he has some good games. He has some games where he gives some stuff up. Um, you look at the rest of our pitching staff, maybe minus a Corbin who's a little older, but also doesn't get a lot of run support either. As much as Corbin has not been the greatest pitcher for us this season, we don't give him any run support, which kind of like almost magnifies the situation, if you will. Like it doesn't look as bad sometimes if we're putting up some runs, but if he's given up even just a few runs and we're not doing anything, like it just kind of, yeah, it's rough. But when I look across the board, I mentioned, our pitching staff, whether it's Hers or Mackenzie Gore or hopefully Josiah Gray can come back healthy. Although I think he's had some hiccups in the rehab where he's feeling some pain and soreness. So that sucks, but hopefully that can get sorted out. But as a whole, there's a lot of promise within our pitching staff. And then I look at, Lane Thomas and CJ Abrams, as well as at some point, Dylan Cruz is going to be coming up. He's apparently been sort of, I don't want to say the little engine that could. I'm not trying to be demeaning in any terms, but he's had to make adjustments everywhere. He wasn't the highly touted, like you said, All American in high school and All American in college and those kind of things. It wasn't quite that path for him. It was a little different where it was continuing to make adjustments and then, sort of getting with the program or falling in line and then flourishing. And so that's what got him all the way to this point. And I guess the same has happened in his minor league travels where he's gotten to said league, an adjustment period, then okay, now things are clicking. So eventually he's going to get called up. Cade Cavalier, another pitcher, I'm hoping will maybe get called up as well. Both those guys probably like, the August, maybe even September days when the rosters expand. So yeah, a lot of promise. It just sucks because like this game, Nats were winning 2-0 almost majority of the game. Then it's 2-1, and then I think like sixth or seventh inning, it's 2-2. We go to extras, it's 3-2, and then boom, floodgates open and 7-2. 7-2 in extra innings. So that's that. I mean, it is what it is. Just gotta hope that when we lose, we don't lose the lesson.
I hate to end the show on such a somber note, sports wise, especially with 4th of July being a couple of days away. But our boys, they did not do too well in the Copa Cup. Actually, they didn't even get out the group stage this. Else, they did beat Bolivia 2-0 in the first game, but in the second game they lost to Panama 2-1, I believe. And yesterday or this morning or something, I don't know, they lost to Uruguay 1-0. And I'm gonna tell you how I found out about this game. I saw the goal first. I saw the controversial goal first. And I guess I'm on the side of everyone that's saying that it wasn't offsides. I just feel like the person that hit the ball wasn't offsides when the ball actually left. Was there someone offsides? Yes, but unfortunately, the Uruguay player that made the first contact with the ball was onside. Like, look, you can look at the line. Like, he was onside. The player at the top of the screen wasn't, but the player that eventually scored was still onside. I didn't know they were playing America when I was making that decision.
Mike, you're wrong either way. That guy was offsides. He can't interfere with the play. But
No,
nonetheless,
he
USA can't put
can.
himself in that position. So
I thought the rule was, hold on real quick. You just ain't gonna drive by and say I was wrong and think I'm just gonna let it slide.
I'm driving.
Like the rule is at the last contact, if you're not like past the last defender, you're onside.
Okay. That guy was offsides before the guy who was onsides headed the ball. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And then the
Before
ball
you
deflected off the keeper, and he was still offsides, and so he kicked it in.
you say when the ball deflected off the keeper, that the player was offside still.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
But if it deflects off the keeper,
You can't
off
be
of
offside.
your keeper, you say what?
It wouldn't be his keeper. The guy shooting at the goal, that's the opposite keeper.
Yeah, I'm talking about the goalkeeper at your goal, not your goalkeeper.
Okay.
But America's defender hit the ball first. And it went to the person that I thought wasn't offsides when the last contact was made. Like I could be mistaken, but it really looked like when they put that blue square up that it was only one person that was over the line.
There were the two guys making the run towards the back of the play, and one of them ended up. There were two guys towards the back that were offsides, and they didn't initially get the ball, but then the ball came to them, and I believe they were still in an offsides position. But either way, You know, this has been a constant thing for Team USA. The Panama game really screwed them over. Uh, Basically, they scored a goal. VAR, which is video assistance review, or something of that verbiage, but VAR. You ruled it offsides, and that was fine. I understood the call. It was the correct call in this particular game against Panama. And
Bro.
then later, I believe, trying to think of what happened first. So I think Team USA scored, and then Panama had made a cross. Think of like you throwing across the middle in football, almost leading your receiver to the middle linebacker. Well, sometimes in
Mm-hmm.
soccer you put a ball like that where your guy can run onto it and maybe get a header or some sort of kick, a flick, whatever, just some kind of touch and get it in. Pause, and then the keeper, is kind of caught in no man's land because if they come out of the goal, they're now in a disadvantageous situation, possibly. But then if they stand there, well, now they don't know where you're hitting the ball, and they have to kind of
Mm-hmm.
guess or kind of based on again like situation and et cetera. They have to make like an educated guess. Anywho, a play like that was made, and you guys are welcome to look this up. It happened early on in the game. The Panama guy, it was kind of one of those plays where guy wasn't going to be able to get to the ball, and he kind of puts his head down on his shoulder and runs into our keeper as our keeper is stretched out with his arms out, exposing his ribs and chest, actually making a play on the ball. Again, this guy had no shot at it. It hit our keeper. Both guys go down. Later on, that guy kind of bumped into Timothy Way, one of our young promising players whose dad is like an actual legend and was a beast for Ghana back in the day when I was a young lad. Um, well, this guy, I think he kind of like nudged him. And look, USA was hot because what I described earlier resulted in no yellow cards. That guy didn't. It was total bush league, and Panama kind of had played like that the whole game. I don't mean to make excuses because we ended up getting a red card, Timothy Way, when he got into it. Like the guy just kind of bumped him. It really wasn't anything that couldn't happen in soccer if two people aren't looking where they're going. And Way just like turns and like swings on him, and he hits him. But it was one of those like if you saw it, he didn't like he wanted to hit him, but he didn't want to like hit him hard and hurt him. He just was like mad about the thing with his keeper, and so because that happened, the guy goes down, really sells it, which is a big thing in soccer, unfortunately. And Way ended up getting a red card, so now USA's down a man, and it is what it is in a sport like soccer. When you're down a man, especially with a team with speed, which a lot of teams have these days. There's not too many slow teams in soccer. There are some teams that are faster than others, but there are not slow teams. Um, Having said that, you're down a man. I mean, it was only a matter of time. They end up losing that game. And because they lost that game, well, now they got to play Uruguay, who was the best team in the group. You beat up on Bolivia. Everybody's beating up on Bolivia, unfortunately. Shout out to Bolivia. Sorry. Rest in peace. Um, but even the Uruguay game, they were playing okay, but then that header comes and not a lot they can do. I think the frustrating thing for people and anybody is welcome to look this up. Team USA has I'm trying I can't I'm not going to name everybody, but they have at least I think a good 5, maybe more than that guys that play overseas on like pretty well-known clubs. I believe Christian Pulisic just signed AC Milan, but he was playing in the EPL, which is arguably the toughest league to play in the world. Europe, South America, etc. Playing in the English Premier League, it's one of the toughest leagues. It's like the SEC for college football. Weston McKennie who is a staple of that team, plays for Juventus, also an Italian team. Him and Pulisic play each other a fair amount. I do not know where Tyler Adams plays at the moment, but he's another one. I'm trying to think of who else. Who am I missing? There's a number of guys. I'm not going to be able to name everybody, but anyway, when you have, that it's the equivalent of like the Washington D line. We had all those first round picks, and so our expectations were pretty high. Well, with Team USA, it's kind of the same thing. Like some of those guys I just mentioned, along with a handful of others, they've all been on the team the last 4 to 5 years, and they've all been playing overseas the last 3 to 4 years at least. So you really expect a lot better than to be eliminated from group stage, because that's what happened. They played Uruguay and lost. Panama beat Bolivia because, again, everybody's beating Bolivia. Shout out Bolivia. And that's what it is. And I think this is one of the first times that we've been eliminated from group play in maybe like 20 years or more. That's the other thing. We were ranked number 11th in the world. That's actually not bad, all things considering, when you look at like
the world.
Yeah. There's a lot of good teams in the world. So
I don't know enough about American soccer to get too in depth, but I feel like just like the Nationals, they're moving up. The trajectory is moving up, and
hopefully,
as the kids get better, because more kids are playing soccer now than ever before, especially when you consider the dangers of youth football that's been discovered over the last couple of, the last decade, let's say decade. Like soccer, I feel like eventually we'll get better at it, but like we gotta, I don't know, like shout out to Uruguay and Panama, but I just feel like you said, we were 11th ranked team in the country. 11th ranked team in the world, so should have easily got out the knockout. Got to the knockout stage.
Yeah, we could beat, like, straight up. If we weren't down, we could beat Panama, or at the very least, we would have tied. And I think it's a good chance we would have moved on one way or another. But just to be clear, that this tournament, so the Euro Cup, that's pretty self-explanatory. It's teams within Europe. This was North America, Central and South America. That's what this tournament was.
Mm-hmm.
So you got teams like Brazil and Argentina, which would be the favorites to win this tournament. Then you throw in maybe like a Chile. Chile's pretty good. Colombia's pretty good. Even for a time, like Mexico's been really good. They seem to be a little bit down based on years past, but it's not just some slouch tournament. But at the same time, we definitely, especially in this one, World Cup's a little different because now you added everybody, so the chances of getting in one of those groups of death or just having a powerhouse, it's rough. But this one, it's like, well, we should be able to at least make it past the group stage. We definitely passed the group stage. And then, hey, be competitive. Never know. So it was pretty disappointing, to be honest.
All right, folks. We did promise a quick show, but it happens. We'll be back next week. Everybody enjoy the 4th of July. I saw a post on Facebook that said it was last weekend, and they were like, somebody doesn't know it, but this is going to be their last weekend with all 10 fingers. And
Jesus,
it's just a stark reminder.
Yep.
Be careful when you lighting them fireworks, man. You gotta back it up like Terry and get up out of there, man. And do it safely. Like, don't be Obama and shoot fireworks at people. Like, get a life. And I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some fisticuffs tomorrow. On Thursday too. Try not to be one of those people, I guess. Like you don't want to wake up on July 5th behind a sill or with a headache because you got your head run.
Yeah.
By a fist, not by a nice special 4th of July drink. But yeah, that's all we got for this week, man. We're gonna holler at y'all next week.
Peace out.